I think I just got a phone call. Um, but so that's those two kinds, water first and then dabbing in some color, starting with one color and mixing in the second color as sort of go down. This third one, I'm going to do the colors that we're going to be using for the wine bottle. And it's sort of the inverse of this one. And then I'm going to make a watery flat wash. I know that I know which direction I want my my gradation to go from. It's going to go from light to dark. I know in class we did it this way, but I'm just going to do it this way for simplicity. And I'm going to make a flat wash and then come back and introduce water up into the top and just sort of shift the darker color away from the top area. And that is similar to things I do in other flat washes. But let's see, let's check it out. This will be interesting, especially because phthalo green is a staining color. So even when I come back, so now that I'm just sort of still thinking flat wash, I can, and it's just this one color, I can kind of reintroduce plenty up here to keep my whole shape consistently wet. And I think what I'll do is get a smaller brush right now, and instead of dabbing in some color like that, I'm going to get a brush of just water, and I'm going to dab it in like that. And that will shift the color down that way. Definitely not as clean of a thing, is it? It's basically just sort of coaxing the color around. So I'm just making this more of a graded wash by introducing water up here so that the white of the paper will be more prominent. That also has that sort of nice effect of also darkening the edges, which I rather like. But let's try that again and see if I can't do a little cleaner example. Maybe I'll try this different brush. Maybe it was the brush's fault. Yeah, that was let's see here. Part of this is just to be comfortable with the technique, as well as just knowing, still doing it and thinking in layers. And so I know any one layer that looks a little bit wacky is not going to be so bad. This is good practice, because what's going on there is I wasn't introducing enough color to keep that whole shape wet. So now when I bring in just the water here, it's making it so where I'm introducing the water is all obviously very wet, and it's been drying here, so it's the uneven distribution of water and paint. So what I'm gonna do is go get a little bit more of that original mix and kind of plop it in here. I usually sort of use kind of a combination of all three of these is really, so having an idea of each one in sort of a isolated fashion is helpful to practice, and then you'll just sort of start knowing where you want there to be lighter color or darker color or a mixed color, and you'll just react by doing one of these three techniques, or one that you come up with on your own too, or find from a different instructor. So I'm gonna try to not do that last thing I did, the same thing I did last time. So I'm gonna bring in a little more paint there so that this whole shape gives it more of a watercolory feeling, I will say, which is fun. But let's see, once again, make sure it's so then bringing in a little bit of water. It still sort of makes that the background kind of look. Which again is fun. Maybe just what you're after. I'm actually lifting a little bit of color out of that top part now, making a thirsty brush. But I still don't want to make it like so different in moisture that the blend it won't dry evenly blend wise. And you can certainly, so like I say, I sort of use a combination of things, and I'm actually going to dab in a little bit of darker color down here. Should probably mix it first. So that's the first pass on those. I'll let those dry and come back and do more soon.